Never in my life have I experienced a manga series with such depth and complexity as Chainsaw Man. Well, that's not true. There are a ton of manga like that. But never in my life have I experienced a manga series deal with such deep and complex emotional issues and then completely fuck itself in the same chapter. We're truly blessed to live in a timeline where Chainsaw Man exists. So today we're going to be talking about chapter 127 of Chainsaw Man and everything that happened within its 15 short pages. But before we get into the good stuff, remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of content. My end of the year goal is 5,000 subscribers, but if everyone watching this video subscribes right now, we'll probably crush that in no time. I signed a contract with the subscribe to my YouTube channel devil. Alright, that's enough small talk. It's time we start talking business. Chainsaw Man business. So this is gonna be a special chapter review today. I have no goddamn clue how to tackle this chapter today because Jesus Christ, is this a specimen of Japanese literature. So rather than just scripting this chapter review video like I usually do, I'm gonna go at this one freehand. I'm gonna reread the chapter and comment my thoughts as I have them. This chapter begins once again with the Falling Devil's continued pursuit of Asa. This time she catches up to her, she makes her fall. Asa tries to cling on for dear life, but this time the Falling Devil catches her and says, "I can tell by the movements of your muscle and the smell of your sweat that your connection to life isn't that strong to begin with. What truly scares you right now is the fear of falling itself, the shock of the impact, the darkness of the sky. Just let go. I promise you I'll give you a peaceful fall into the afterlife." Nasa takes a moment to think about everything that's happened in her life, what happened with Yuko, what happened when she was at the orphanage with her cat Crambone. She thinks, honestly, I'm over it. She lets go, and she descends into the sky. And Asa notices as she's falling, she truly feels at peace right now. She doesn't have to bother anyone with her circumstances anymore. She doesn't have to feel the pain of being up at night and thinking about everything she's done wrong in her life. She only notes that she has one regret. That regret is that she wishes that she could have connected with someone with all of her heart. At least that's what I think she was gonna say. Now, there's one thing I noticed in particular with this scene, and that's as Asa was lamenting about how she isn't able to connect with anyone in her life, there is a panel that shows two birds flying around in the sky above her. Now, I'm certain as a lot of people watching this video already know, Asa's last name Mitaka means 3 hawks in Japanese, and there has been a lot of bird symbolism in Chainsaw Man Part 2 so far. Now, even though Asa's last name Mitaka means 3 hawks, it seems like her entire life there has never been enough birds. It's been a very popular theory in Chainsaw Man Part 2 so far that Asa, Mitaka, and Yoru represent 2 of the 3 hawks already. And I believe for Asa to truly feel complete, there needs to be a 3rd hawk. I think with this scene in particular, the symbolism that Fujimoto's trying to convey is that Denji is supposed to be the 3rd hawk. Because as we see these 2 hawks flying in the sky above Asa while she laments that she's never had anyone to connect with, she's interrupted by Denji jumping in and saving her, grabbing her by the hand. So Denji grabs Asa by the hand and saves her from falling, but as he's holding on, he notices that she's very heavy. He comments later on that it's probably her emotional trauma that's making her harder to hold on to. But Asa says, "Stop, let go, I've accepted it. Life is nothing but pain, I don't want anything to do with it anymore." And this is where the chapter gets truly special to me. Even though Denji is this silly, stupid character that doesn't really have that much complexity to his thinking, he still tries to console her, he tries to comfort her. He says, think about happy things, cats, dogs, ice cream. And this actually stops Asa's descent into the sky. Denji says, "I know how you feel. Believe me, I've been there." And then comes probably my favorite panel in the entirety of Chainsaw Man so far. Asa says, "What would you know? No one has had it worse than me." Honestly, same girl, same. So I feel when my alarm goes off at 5 in the morning and I've gotten like 3 hours of sleep and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, life is pain. And Denji keeps trying to talk her down, albeit in a very ineloquent way, but he says, just as life starts to get better and better, something terrible has to happen, right? And all you can think about is the shitty things that have happened in your life, but life isn't all that bad. There are still things you can look forward to. If you have any regrets at all, that means your life is still worth living. Like I said, he puts it in an incredibly ineloquent way, but there's a lot of wisdom behind what he's saying, even though he's talking about a cheeseburger made of crap. Asa says, "How did you get over it?" And he says, "I'm not over it. You know, I still feel this pain every day. But as long as I have something to live for, I can keep going." And then we get what I honestly think is one of the most brilliant moments in Chainsaw Man history. Asa asks, "What is it that you have to keep living for?" And Denji says, "Sex! Oh, please, dear God, I just want sex!" Now, if there's anything I can say about Denji, it's first of all, he got that dog in him, but second of all, he's incredibly honest to a fault. Imagine having negative riz to the point that you admit in front of your crush that the only thing that you have to live for is looking forward to having sex someday. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I think in Denji's case, the word stroke can be taken literally rather than figuratively. But if I'm being honest, I think this is gonna work when it comes to saving Asa. Because if thinking happy thoughts like kittens and puppies and ice cream doesn't work, maybe being so put off by what someone just said in front of you that you can think about nothing else will. Imagine this is the Marvel universe and you're being attacked by some monster whose power is to make you so depressed that you die, and then Spider-Man swoops in and saves you and just says, bro, I'm so horny right now. I could imagine that would make anyone grossed out to the point where they can't think about how depressed they are. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think this scene actually serves a more important purpose to the narrative of Chainsaw Man overall. It's not just Denji being down bad saying that he wants sex. Which is crazy because the more I reread this chapter, the more like special and important these interactions between Asa and Denji feel to me. It's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people looking in at Chainsaw Man from the outside can just see Denji being horny and thinking, oh, it's just another typical horny shonen protagonist, but there's like so much more to it, you know? Now there are still a few more things that I hope we get soon in the Chainsaw Man manga, like finding out who was the one that saved Denji last chapter, finding out if Fake Saw Man is real or not, and finally seeing the payoff of Yoru finding out that Denji was Chainsaw Man all along. Last week I thought that after this Falling Devil confrontation ends, maybe Chainsaw Man will be revealed as Denji to Asa and Yoru, and that would create a more dramatic irony for the series going forward, but I think Fujimoto is going to be putting that off for later in the manga after reading this chapter. It just doesn't feel like this is the right time for Denji to reveal himself as Chainsaw Man to Asa. I feel like there's still going to be some more dramatic irony going forward, and then one day when Denji finally reveals himself as Chainsaw Man to her, she'll be like, ugh, gross, you really said that? But I think that'll be about all for today's chapter review video. If you guys want something to watch after this, I highly recommend you check out the video I made a few weeks ago about the new Sexy Power and Makima figure. That's probably my most underrated video in recent memory, so that'll be appearing on your screens right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye now.